What is going on, everybody? KOFan93 back here with another video. So this video is going to pretty much try and explain pretty much everything that there is for beginners in the belt collecting hobby, people that are just starting out. Basically a guide. I wanted to call it belt collecting for dummies, but I'm not really calling anybody stupid, so it was, I could be really misleading. So yeah. Backstory on myself, I started collecting WWE Replica belts back in 2003. I got my first one for my 10th birthday, and it was an Attitude Era WWF tag team title, kid size replica. I got that for my 10th birthday and I was immediately hooked. I got my second one 3 years later. It was also kid size. It was a European title, WWF logo from A&J's Belts. That's where my relationship with A&J's Belts started. And I've been doing business with them for, 14 years now. Almost 14 years. Been collecting for 14 years, been doing business with them for 11. I'm pretty sure that first belt might have been from their eBay page. So we could say 14 years. We'll just say over a decade. But I'm in a bunch of the Facebook belt groups, and of course there's always newcomers. People have a lot of questions. I'm usually somebody that they go to. And I'll answer questions all day long. But some of the age-old questions they just keep popping up. I answered a bunch of them in my FAQ video, but the best advice that I can give to somebody that's just starting their collection: don't collect what everybody else tells you should collect, because there's a lot of very influential people, or people that try to be influential in this hobby. You go on a bunch of the Facebook groups and you'll have people tell you all day long, oh, you should get this one, you shouldn't get the one that you're asking about because it's just not good, in my opinion. Well, their opinion doesn't matter. I see a lot of people talk crap on these spinner belts, but I own one myself. It's a CM Punk tribute belt. There's a video of it on my YouTube page if you want to check it out. So I collect for myself and no one else. So yeah, the first piece of advice I could give is collect whatever you want. Starting out in the hobby, obviously a lot of people are going to be on a budget, because paying $400+ for your first belt isn't always a very desirable thing to do. I know it wouldn't be for me. Like, for example, this is my 22nd belt in my collection, and it is one of the highest priced ones. This belt's $429 on WWE Shop. I got mine from A&J's Belts. Of course, with A&J's Belts, you don't have to pay the sky-high prices for shipping and processing fees, so there's none of that. So for a beginner, what I'm going to recommend here is something a lot of people frown upon, and I get in a lot of arguments with people about these, and that's the commemorative line. And I've got 6 commemorative titles in my collection, and it's no mystery that when the commemoratives first started servicing back in 2008, I think it was, they were hot garbage. I had a spinner. The strap was stiff as can be, and the plates weren't very durable, and it lost jewels constantly. But since then, WWE has completely upgraded everything with the commemorative titles. You now get the same strap that's on the replicas, and the plates are a lot better, and you wouldn't know that it was plastic without looking at it, or by looking at it. You wouldn't know unless you felt of it, held it, whatever. So commemoratives are a very affordable and, in my opinion, much better alternative to paying the sky-high prices if you're on a budget. Of course, there is always the layaway system with A&J's belts. You could give that a try. But if you're itching to get something now, I'd recommend a commemorative. The UK title was not available in commemorative, unfortunately. But I do have one. And if you're one of those beginners that just wants to jump right in, just dive in head first, go at it, start getting some of the best stuff, and you're looking for some of the higher quality stuff. There's certain belts to avoid getting for your first belt, and there's certain belts that if you're wanting a high quality one for your first one, you should jump right in and get. And if you're wanting to go for something high quality for your first belt, even though I haven't actually seen one, I have seen reviews, videos, pictures, whatever. I'd probably say the Cruiserweight title is one of the best replicas you can go after right now. When WWE Shop puts the sales on, I believe that belt runs $339 average, $350, somewhere in that range. So the Cruiserweight title would be a really good quality, closest to TV accurate as possible replica to get for your first one if you're wanting to go that route. Another one you can't go wrong with is the Winged Eagle. It's a 4mm, it's casted, it's got great detail. The strap's really flexible on it. The only downside is the fact that it's the WWE logo, and also that the sidebars are not attached to the main plate. But other than that, that's a really good belt that you could go after. And another thing, just starting out, you're going to have questions about maintenance on these things. I have seen countless ways to clean and maintain your belts. What I do, I used to use ammonia-free Windex on them. However, I have cut back on that. So anymore, I just take a cloth. I use the terry towels from the automotive section at Walmart, and I will get them wet with warm water, wring them out really good to where it's just barely damp, give them a wipe down, and then dry them off with a dry cloth. It does the trick, keeps the plates nice and shiny, smudge free, and looking really good. As for your leather, I would not recommend using any type of chemicals on your leather, let alone water. We all know about the bucket effect. That just molds your strap. It's not a good idea. I was one of the people that did the bucket effect, and later on down the road when I got a little more educated in this stuff, I discovered there was mold in the belt, so I sold it. Somebody wanted it, they knew, I sold it. Another thing that I do, because if you're not one of these people, one of these elitist collectors that has the glass Detolf cases, okay? First of all, I'm not, because I don't have an IKEA near me, nor do I have the money to fork out for them. So mine are displayed on shelves that I got at Walmart. The Detolf cases protect the belts from getting too much exposure to the air, which may have moisture in it. So moisture in the air is a very, very big problem with belts, because it puts them at risk of tarnish if they're exposed to it. Tarnish is not fun. I'm sure at some point we've all had tarnish on a belt. That was a complete pain in the rear to fix. So what I do for my belts is I gather silica gels. Any package that I get, something that I buy, silica gel, you can get these at office supply stores, shipping supply stores. They're very, very cheap. Anyway, these are used to keep moisture out of packaging. I have about 5 to 6 of these sitting behind my belts. You cannot see them from the front side, but they are back there, and I have not had any issues since I started using them. Another thing you could get is, you can get them at Walmart, or I guess anywhere else really that sells this kind of stuff, but over with the ironing boards in the home line section, there is this thing called Damp Rid, and it's about this big, and it's pretty much just a big old canister of that silica crap that just pulls moisture out of the air. So that's another good way to keep them nice and clean, or tarnish free. So back to the beginner's crap. If you're just getting started out, one thing to always remember, it's not about the quantity of what you get. You don't want to break yourself going after 5 to 6 belts at a time to try to catch up to these people that have big collections. Trust me, I've done that, and it's a great way to bust the bank account. It's not fun. Take it slow, take it easy. If you have a bunch of money to spend and you want to get a good quantity of them, go after the commemorative line. You can get 2 commemoratives for about $320. That's a pretty good deal. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. Myself, I just save money out of every paycheck. If I'm wanting a belt, I'll just save up till I got the amount for the belt. I get it, pay for it, done and over with, cool beans. So it's always good to try and save money for it, because you don't want to break yourself. Always take great care of your belts. Do not leave them in the bags. For God's sake, do not leave them in the bags for long periods of time. I've seen too many issues come up with that. But yeah, that's really about all I've got. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, drop a comment. I'll be sure and answer it. Like this video if it helped anything. I know it wasn't too informative, but I've been wanting to do it, so I did. But yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. So, KLFan93, see you next time.